welcome back to another episode of her Gypsy Soul podcast, The Stories That Bind Us. My name is Jacqueline Van Bierk. I am your host. I'm a singer, songwriter, an artist, a music composer, and I just love having conversations with people. I love people. And I love having people share their stories because we're so much more alike than we're different. And when it all comes down to it, we all want one thing. We all want to live a fulfilling, happy, healthy life, in my opinion, at least. And I don't know if you don't want that, I don't know why you would even be here. With that said, I am so honored and honestly, even a little nervous because today's guest, I think he's such a genius. He is so outspoken about the industry, that the health industry, and really taking back the power that you've had all along. Taking charge of your own health, of your own well-being, and I just really love his attitude. And again, his outspokenness is just like something that I feel the people need to hear, and not just hear but get inspired by and live by that. Dr. Tommy John is an author of a book called Minimize Injury, Maximize Performance, a sports parent's survival guide. He holds a master's degree in health and exercise science from the Furman University. He has over 17 years of experience in the field. He also played professional baseball for 3 years. His career ended abruptly after having a rare infection in his throwing shoulder. So he actually learned from healing himself after he got pretty messed up. But he'll tell more about his story. So again, I found out about him and I've been watching him and listening to him. And I was like, oh my God, I have to bring him on because this is a message that I feel will inspire you to take charge of your life again, of your own health and well-being. Listen with an open mind. And if you love what he's saying, in the description below, there's a way for you to get a hold of him and follow him on social media. And here we go. With no further ado, it's Dr. Tommy John. How are you, Dr. Tommy? I'm so honored to have you on my show because I've been following you and it's just amazing. Honestly, you've empowered me so much because you'll tell more about your story in a bit, right? But you are so outspoken, and the world needs to hear your message and what you're saying because I think we live in an era of fear and being so addicted to pills and to doctors and to, treatments and just I've been afraid of the sun, to be honest with you. I haven't got out of the sun, and since I've been listening to you, I've been out panning. Tell us a bit about you and what brought you to where you are now, because you are obviously a doctor and you obviously have a lot of 17 years of experience helping people. You've had a big injury also that stopped you from becoming a pro baseball player, right? And so you've overcome a lot of things. Help us get an insight of your life, who you are, and what brought you here.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the biggest thing that I was a very much of an observational type child. I remember vividly that I would observe everybody, even past the point of, when we're just little trying to mimic our parents and getting input from them. But I was in sports, so I would watch the adults, how they'd play, and I'd imitate them, or I'd watch who were the cool kids on the team, and I'd try to mimic them or see how they talked to different people or the girls that they hung out with when we got older, and just all the different things. I was very observational, and then I would experiment with that and I would try different things. And so having accepted that and being in sports, I think you really learn about your body, you learn about yourself, you really try to tie in, the different coats. You try to wear as many coats as you can to see what fits for you. College baseball, and then I went on to play professionally for 2 years. And one of those injuries was I just had an achy shoulder, and I went and got an arthrogram, which is dye injected to your shoulder for an MRI, which I would never in a million years do right now, knowing what I know. But that dye got brought in bacteria from the outside, pierced my skin. My body had a beautiful immune response called an infection. And it gave me a fever of 105 degrees. And it was so painful. And it was eating all that and trying to neutralize everything. They took it upon themselves to rush me into surgery and flush it out. And I was on IV antibiotics according to their model. And it was, everyone's like, well, you would have died. Well, actually, no, I don't really know what I would have done. I would have sought help from my only medicine woman that I know on this planet that I would trust, and that's Dr. Cassie Huckabee. And I would have sought out her care, but I would not have gone to the emergency room or the doctor, the allopathic doctor. And that's what's interesting is their model, their screening model, because they get you to screen stuff. They have to image things. They have to look through an MRI, and they want you to go in for these screenings. The screening ended up making me damaged and causing a healing response. And then they came in to sort of save the day. And it's like, you guys just totally screwed me both ways, like really. And so I started to look at that model, and then the physical therapy disaster model. And I was looking at that, being in physical therapy, having to do it. And I was just like, this whole thing is just doesn't make any sense. After 2 years of professional baseball, I got with this facility called Synergy Fitness and Sports. And there was a gentleman, Vladimir Cherguz, who's my good buddy now, and John McNulty. And we pulled back the curtain on orthopedics and physical therapy and rehabilitation and all the bullshit that it is. And that was just soft tissue injury. And we were doing some gnarly things that were very primitive, but traditional in a sense, but we were out there, we were fringe. And our stuff worked every single time. It worked as long as the person was willing to give in and work. And when they did, they came back better than the healthy people, the quote unquote healthy people. So then I started training everyone and preparing everybody as if they had injury. Because when you're injured or imbalanced, you got to do way more. That's why anytime people present with sickness or disease, which don't exist in my opinion, you have to do more work than you're a person of expressing optimal health. And that's what we don't think. We think it's going to be an easy path, and it's going to be very comfortable, and it's going to be very short and very instantaneous, and very calm and collective. And that's not how we change. And so fast forward to 20 years now, I've seen a lot. I've witnessed a lot. I've asked a lot of questions. I've experienced a lot of my medicine. And then I, even to the point to where I dropped the doctor title, I burned my degrees. I no longer have my license because I don't want to be a part of it anymore. I'm continuing to do what I do. It's just not under the guise of chiropractic or a license or any of the bullshit that they had me under before anyway. And the whole school system of naturopathic and holistic needs to crumble, and the allopathic needs to crumble. And I'm out to do what I can to make sure that these people confusing the American public on the holistic side as well are wiped out, and we just seek ourselves back again, and we take humanity back again, starting with the individual.
I love that so much. And I think the biggest challenge I can see is that, and I have a lot of friends in my life that had cancer, that have like really, my mom's partner has like diabetes. He has like 11 something pills that he's taking like twice a day. And to me, that is so dangerous, because one thing that may cure something damages something else, right? So, but a person like that, I'm trying to get him more of on a holistic path. And like, there's many things you can do on your own. But I think the challenge will be for people to realize that and to start slow. Like, maybe you don't need to go to that doctor, because the doctor, all he does is give you pills, and pills don't work. They work, but they just cover up the, right? They don't go to the root. And we have to get to the root of the what you call the healing process, not even the illness, which I really love. That's such a great law of attraction, right? If you think of healing and you focus on healing versus focusing on I am sick, I'm ill, that is like such a huge major mindset challenge and change.
Yeah, you said it in the first off, we got to drop the names. Diabetes is just a name. Cancer is a name that they gave the healing response. Diabetes doesn't exist. Cancer doesn't exist. A tumor is just a healing response of the body, no more than a scab on a leg. Would you call a scab a sickness? No, you call a scab healing. And that's not, I'm not tricking it with words. I'm not saying to focus on healing. I'm just like, you're not ill ever. The illness is the healing. Inflammation, acne, warts, sores, eczema, psoriasis, melasma, vitiligo, indigestion, fever, vomiting. These are all the body healing itself. So illness isn't even a thing. If we stop talking about it, then all of a sudden we won't run and get it to save us. So it's like not stopping pills. That's not step number one. stopping the whole thing is stop calling it a name. Now you didn't even mention their name. Like, oh, my mother or my father or my partner or my whatever. It's the person who has diabetes, that person who has cancer, or my depression, my anxiety. Like, no, you're not any of that. So we have to change the story, and it starts with the words. And the allopathic model and holistic naturopathic model, as I said, all needs to crumble. They all like using these words like diabetes, autoimmune disease. Autoimmune, your body attacks you? Are you fucking kidding me? As if we're flawed to the point to where we would attack ourselves, that we have to be so afraid of ourselves and try to beat ourselves and control ourselves. This is exactly the problem. And I won't tolerate it. I'm not standing for it anymore. Like, I'm not even going to like let it go, because I can't. It's what's gotten us here for the last 50 years, is thinking this way. So it is, once you grasp like, wait, I am not my diabetes, because diabetes doesn't even exist. My body's just, I put it in a position. It's doing what it needs to do to keep me here, because that's all it knows is survival, adaptation, regeneration, and healing. It doesn't know attack, because if bodies attack themselves, we'd never evolve here. We'd never be here. We're here because we survived a whole bunch of shit. So all of a sudden now, then what am I if my pancreatic cells aren't doing their job? Then what am I if I have warts all over my skin? What am I if I've got acne? What's going on? What is truly going on? And if we sit with ourselves and think about the beauty and the wonder that is our body doing that, then it's like, whoa, wait, I don't want to go ahead and burn these off. I don't want to go ahead and take insulin that's going to, again, further detach me from whatever. I don't want to go ahead, but they said I was going to die. Wait a second. I'm going to die right away? This just doesn't make much sense. Let me sit here and think about this for a while. Let me feel this for a while. Most of the time you can figure it out on your own, but there will be a few medicine men and women. And when I say a few, I mean few per like million. There's only going to be like a couple. Just like in these communities, historically, there was like one medicine man or woman, and then everybody just lived healthy and connected and worked with each other. And then there was like one. We didn't have all these like specialties like acupuncture, Reiki, energy, spiritual ascension teacher, oil salesman, a massage therapist, Graston, Rolfing. My God, we've got so outsourced to all these specialties and all these businesses, and everybody needs to now be a healer. Like, first of all, you don't heal anything. Secondly, we don't need more of you in the profession. We just need healthy adults. And most of the people that get into it to be saved by this. So if you think about that, like, what work could we personally do on the individual scale? Then all of a sudden we'd start to see things a little differently. Not even just like the people that we want to get better, but the people that are watching us and imitating us. Oh, you're telling me not to take those pills, but you go hog down these oils and pills and supplements and herbs because you can't function without these herbs and oils. Wait, how is that any different? It's not any different. That's what I'm saying. Like, people are literally saying no pills, but oils, herbs, and supplements. Wait. It can't be that difficult. And it's not. And I'm not talking like long, like the short term. There might be a time period where you got to do something drastic, but it's long term. We don't need like 99.999% of the stuff that we keep promoting and selling. And it's got to crumble, starting with the labels. Those labels are some of the most dangerous things because we have to break the identity of who we were before. You're never a diagnosis. A diagnosis is a complete lie. It's a name. It's a word given a code so that you can have a treatment code so that you can bill it to insurance. That's why they're named.
Right.
So as soon as we stop the name, just like you and I, we're just humans. Like, on the basic scale, I'm not a doctor anymore. That's another reason I dropped the label. I'm not above you. I'm not like over here knowing more. No, we all know it because we all were born with it. And as soon as we realize we're all just like humans on this stream, then we're all a part of this whole thing. And your responsibility for humanity is to be the healthiest version of you. Me, same thing. That's why I work on myself every fucking day, is because that's my testament to society. Wait, your office isn't because you heal? No, I'm just an embodiment in my office trying to ignite in my office so that they don't ever come to my office again. I don't want them to come to my office. We don't want them to do these things. We just want human beings being healthy human beings. And as such, that's how we save humanity.
Oh my God, it is so true. Because really, I mean, I'm so against big pharma because I think that it's all about money. It's not about really there's no money in people being healthy, right?
Yeah.
So they have to make the money. The same with the vaccine and all the kind of stuff that's going on now, where I feel like, and you said it, you nailed it when you said the best I can do is being my healthy self, because then you can contribute, right? I'm not responsible for
Yeah.
anyone else's health. And that's what it's come down to now, where people say, well, you have to take the vaccine, so you protect someone, do it for them. And I'm like, what is this shit?
Right.
Like, how did we even get
Right.
here, right? Like, how did we get here that you expect me to do something that has nothing to do with you? Like, it has nothing to do with you. That's just because you
Right.
are lazy and don't want to work on yourself, you know? And I think, God, people are so, we're all guilty of that in one way or another, because we are all programmed, right? Especially the
Yeah.
older generation, they're very programmed to, you don't feel good, you go to the doctor, and whatever the doctor says is true, you know, and you just follow orders. That sounds familiar, right? So, but that leads just to like a very, that's another form of addiction. That's just another form of addiction, and that's not healthy. So how can we help someone? Because I'm trying to figure that out. I'm not a doctor, and I know that people sometimes they like to argue with me about it. Well, you know, you don't have that, and be glad you don't have that. And I'm like, well, I think a healthy person can also get ill. That can happen because maybe there's stress involved, maybe there's whatever involved, and then I'll do my best to get on the path of health again, you know, and well-being. But I find it so challenging, and maybe it's not even my duty, but I find it challenging trying to get others on that path of like self-power, you know,
Yeah.
powerful beings. And what you say is what becomes, right? Because what you focus on expands. It's just the law.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you, if somebody walks up to you and says, well, you don't know because you're healthy, but you know, I have high blood pressure, and I have this, and I have that. I mean, how do you even try to tell them, like, chill out, like, you know, there is hope for you?
Yeah, so I don't really. I mean, there's people that want to engage in conversation and have a back and forth, and there's people that just want to hear more of the same. They're not going to listen to you, and I don't have an ounce of energy to put towards somebody that doesn't want to actually help themselves. So if somebody's inquiring a little bit, then sure. But most people, I don't. They need to fall. They need to fall hard, and they need to get scared enough. And they're not going to listen to you unless they're scared. They're not going to listen to me unless they're scared. So to keep pounding all this stuff. Now, you said something very interesting. We're addicted to pills. We're addicted to going in and having somebody save us. Naturopathic and holistic as well. We're addicted to essential oils. We're addicted to supplements. We're addicted to treatments. It's just as bad. So as soon as we stop saying that like something needs to happen, truthfully, what has to happen, like literally, like we just need everyone to realize that their entire life is their medicine. That everything they get to do and exchange with you, walking outside, waking up, taking a shower, looking at a light, consuming a breakfast, engaging with an animal or a pet, seeing a child crawl or grow, going outside and seeing the weather shift, seeing the clouds, the sun, like every part of it is medicine. And so what we do is everybody's looking to save everybody else. And when I start saying that everybody needs to be unemployed, everybody in health just needs to quit, just stop. Because what would happen? There'd be a scary transition where we'd see a lot of people freak the fuck out. But what you'd see is a lot of people regain this autonomous sovereignty that we keep preaching about with these freedom groups and health people. They have to be scared enough. They have to be in enough pain. They have to be in enough, they will figure it out, because the only people that heal are the people that know they can and are willing to do the work. And not anybody is when they approach you like, oh, well, you mean I can, or what about as soon as they say the name, they're not ready. They're not ready for it. You're not going to convince them in that one shot. And everybody will say, oh, you're wrong. Like, keep going. Go ahead. How's that working out? We wouldn't be having this conversation if it was working for you, because we would just go have millions of conversations all day. And we would just go talk to everybody. It's like, no, all we have to do personally is you need to be a walking testament to it. Every single thing, not 99.9%, everything. So that if somebody dropped into your life, they'd be like, why are you doing that? Oh, because X, Y, Z, D, like all the reasons. And I'm like, shit, should I do it? Done. You don't even answer. I don't know. Try. That's it. No, it heals cancer. No, it doesn't. It doesn't even come close to healing cancer. Well, it corrects illness. No, it does not, because illness is a thing that's healing. That's the thing. Like, do I get a runny nose? Yeah. Am I ill? No, that's healing. That's the body getting rid of stuff. So as soon as we drop that you're even ill in the first place, it doesn't exist. And then all of a sudden we stop telling people what to do. Now everyone's getting on me on social media because I'm telling people to stop following me. And they're like, wait, you're telling people to, I'm like, no, because they want to know, why do you do coffee enemas? Why are you eating red grapes right now? Why am I drinking black coffee that made? Why is there jade sitting right here? Why do I have salt lamps? Oh my God, you guys want this like one-to-one. You want this reason so that you don't have to go do the experience and the work. You want this counterfeit life that somebody just gives you. That has to stop. Now, we love people. You love people. I love certain people, and we don't want them to suffer. But having seen some people suffer from the other side and then suffer from the holistic essential oil, supplement oils and herbs, it's just as bad. So with me looking from both sides and being like, shit, they died. Since death is a guarantee, it's really the life and the experience. All right, I'm just going to go this way and experience this life to the greatest I can. Hey, you want to live? Let's go live. Let's go this way and see what happens along the way. It can't be any worse than what we've got now. It can't be any worse over there. That's why I'm saying it all needs to crumble. We just need to go forward and live. Well, how do I know what helps high blood pressure? You'll figure it out.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I know that we're going to lose some people along the way, but I don't think we lose them, because I have a way different view of death now. Death, we should be so lucky to live for any amount of time and be able to ascend to another level energetically. That's amazing. But no, we look at it as, not, if you're not dead, you're healthy. And that's not the case.
Right.
Because holistic is doing it as well. Oh, you're still here, you must be good. No, like, are you living though? Are you happy? Are you content? Are you making choices based on your values and beliefs? Or are you just outsourcing to another holistic podcast? So that's the thing. It's one of those things. I'm done. I'm dropping it all. No more of this. And everyone gets all upset. And that's why I say the upset ones, those are the ones, that's what you got to listen to. You're upset because I'm not spoon feeding you anymore. We have a bunch of broken ass adults coddling to broken ass adults and being coaches to broken ass adults. And everybody just wants to be an infant again. To these parents, they want parenting again because we didn't get it. Okay. But now people are giving in and they're like, oh, they're just giving them on a plate, and the plate breaks. They're giving them another plate. Everybody needs to fall, and fall hard. I have, you have, I continue to, you continue to. That's where the change made. That's where it's made. We all have to fall. And we all have an opportunity right now through this beautiful trauma called 2020 and the fairy tale that they tried to make up. That's a worldwide trauma. Great. I don't think we're scared enough, to be totally honest, because if the powers that be called the whole thing off, we wouldn't be any better than we were before. And I don't want it to end. And everybody gets all upset when they say that to me. And I'm like, no, we haven't changed enough.
Yeah.
We aren't scared enough. And that's what I want to happen. I've seen scared. I've experienced scared. I continue to get there. It continues to make the changes that I have, because truthfully, every single day is an opportunity to be better than you were yesterday, to be more evolved than you were yesterday. If you're not doing things different today than you did yesterday, you are hurting yourself. And as a result, you are hurting the globe. You are hurting humanity. You are here because the agreement between you and source, whatever it is, was to continue to be a connected, strong, autonomous, sovereign, free, sunbathed, nourished, believed, like integrated human being every single day. And that's your duty and that's your responsibility. That's where it comes, where they don't realize why we're not harming them, or why you don't understand the thousands of things I do during the day to be the best version of myself, which in turn helps you, but you don't get that. Just like parents want us to do stuff for children, but they don't want to do the work themselves. The children is a direct result. Children's health is a direct result of the parents and the womb and the seed and the egg. And that's what parents don't want. They want to outsource it to somebody else. So we have a lot of outsourcing going on, and we really, truly just need to focus on living. What does it mean to live? What's your values and beliefs? And to find that, we gotta get bottom. We gotta like bottom out in a scary way.
Oh my God, that is so much powerful, juicy stuff in there, because I feel you. Like everybody wants to go back to normal, and I'm thinking, normal. You probably hated your job. You probably didn't like your life, and you have an opportunity now to come back to normal, but you're going right back to where you were, right? To your miserable
Mm-hmm.
job, your miserable life, to being stressful, to being just not your true authentic self most of the time, right? I'm losing you again. I think it's my connection because I'm at a campground. Um, but you know what also should make people really think is that people like you get censored, and you lost. I think you lost your Instagram, right? You know, and so
Twice.
twice. And so if that doesn't wake people up to, hey, maybe there's some truth to this, right? Because why would anybody care
Yeah.
what you say, right? But they do care
Right.
because
Right.
it's all about the big machine wanting people to stay on that life support, on that, the bottle, right? Or like the pacifier, just like,
Right.
just enough to survive, I think. And we don't want to just survive, we want to live. And that's
Right.
what you preach, or not even preach, but that's what you live and that's what you show people. And I appreciate the rawness to bring to this, because people need to hear this. We all need to hear this. Because you're
Yeah.
saying the holistic, yes, I'm the same way. I have all these supplements, and I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
that's a lot of supplements I'm taking every day. Is this
Totally.
is this actually working or not? Like,
Right.
is this healthy? Is it, or is it just expensive pee? Maybe it's just, I mean, at some point I had to stop too, because every time on Amazon or whatever, I'm like, oh yeah, I need that. Oh, that's for, staying young. This is for
Totally.
energetic. And it just becomes this
Yeah.
another way of making a lot of money for somebody. And does it really help me? Right? Because I think there's, not saying I believe, I'm not a doctor, but I believe certain things are definitely good for you, but to an extent, because if you have all these things, you're taking all these things, then your
Yeah.
body's like, what the hell, like, give me a break. You made me think of that actually, because I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I take all these things, and and then I have a holistic doctor, which I really love. He's in LA, and he
Yeah.
gave me like a little protocol in case I do get COVID and what to take, right? Like, I was like, oh cool, that's good to have. And then I took it for a little bit, and I was like, that's just a lot of shit.
Right.
And I feel like I'm fine because I'm exercising, I'm going out all the time, I'm out in nature. And that's, a lot of people don't even do that. Even when the lockdown was like, how would people just not go outside? This is free, it's free, there's nobody's
Yeah.
endangering you. Like, there's no, whatever you believe, but who the hell is going to hurt you out there? With your mask on, like not even getting fresh air.
Right.
Thankfully this is kind of slightly going away, but I think now the other thing I feel is like dangerous is like the whole vaccine division. Like,
Yeah.
you're either being called a conspiracy theorist and a selfish person, or you just like a responsible person. And is that healthy for us? Because I don't think it is.
Right. I
And
agree.
taking our freedom away, our freedom of choice, that's a very dangerous thing that big pharma is kind of playing. I'm very concerned about that, and making an ultimatum that if you don't take it, then you may not be able to do certain things, and that's just a fucked up thing. How do you feel about that, the
The
vaccine?
vaccine
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah,
So having done my research on just the vaccine industry, virology in specific, and just my interviews on podcasts, no virus has ever been isolated or shown to cause disease in the history of viruses. So viruses don't exist, in my opinion. Therefore, there's no sickness caused by any virus. Therefore, vaccines make no sense to me. And
uh-huh.
so when I tell people, that's all you need to know. You don't need to know anything else. Everyone's like, well, what about the research of mRNA, all this stuff? First of all, the research being provided is from controlled groups. So don't even think that you have any information that you think you know, because the information's all owned. If you haven't seen that or you don't understand that, then I don't understand anymore. It's all coming from the same place. There's no protected information unless it's you speaking directly to me. So what we know about the vaccine, we don't know shit about the vaccine. And so everyone's like, well, will you take it? No, like it doesn't make any sense to me. And that's all you need to know, because it's not tried or it's not tested or it's not. No, I don't need to. It doesn't make any sense to me. There is no virus ever in the history of life Has there ever been one isolated to cause disease? Ever? Name it. Epstein-Barr, H1N1, HIV, never been known to cause, proven to cause any disease, ever. So it's all a lie. Like, okay, great. What if they made it? It still doesn't make any sense. And does it appear to be doing anything? No, it's not doing shit. Just look around you. Are people falling over? No. We're like so far gone, we have nothing to worry about. So as far as like this vaccine goes, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Would I ever get it to travel? No, we're talking health, right? I'm not, you're not talking societal shit. You're talking health. No, it doesn't make any sense to me for health. Why the fuck would I get it to travel or eat groceries or buy? No, that doesn't make any sense, because we were talking about health. I'm sorry. You guys started talking about being a part of society, not health. And so that doesn't make any sense either. But yeah, it's further than that. The first time we put on a mask, the vaccine was coming. They just wanted to see what we do. And we didn't do shit. We let it happen. Yes. And everyone's bowing their chest and trying to be all tough. Now they're trying to stand against vaccines. Oh, where the fuck were you when the masks were coming out? Or where were you when they closed your business and you closed your business, you dipshits? Well, they would have nothing. You gave in, and now we have vaccine and vaccine passports. It's I love it, because it's going to divide everyone to the point to where we're going to see who you really belong with. Like, I've lost friendships. I'm completely fine with what's going on. Seriously, because we're not going to stop it. The powers that be who keep talking about, like, we don't know who's doing this. We would never know. If we knew, we'd be killed. But the thing is, we will never know what's coming. We will never know the extent of this stuff. The GMO mosquitoes are being released in Florida and Texas, but everyone's moving there. How's that going? Like, we don't know anything. Do we know that? No. I mean, literally, we don't know anything that's coming. Right. So all I know is this. That's all I know. That's all I can control. That's all I will focus on. I do not read one news article from anything regarding vaccines, tests, viruses, GM, like, whatever. It doesn't make any bit of sense to my life. It's not going to help my life in any way. We've just become experts in really bad things. And we're not any better. As I said, everybody knows all these things about Bill Gates and virology and Tony Fauci and mRNA vaccines and PCR tests and the weaponization of the, all this stuff. Like, you don't even know how to fucking make a meal. And somehow you're going to instruct me on, like, how, dude, you got so much more stuff to worry about. And truthfully, that's why when I respond in my DMs, when people are like, hey, what do you think about shedding? Or what do you think about, I'll first be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, it's what the virus and the protein spike. I'm like, no, I don't get it, because viruses don't exist in my life. So this makes no sense to me. I'm going to go sun my balls. And I like joke with that, like, where I'm too busy sunning my balls to even care about any of this stuff. And that's truthfully it. I am going to continue to live my radical, awesome life and keep doing the things that I'm doing, which aren't hurting anybody. In fact, are helping humanity. There's going to be people that don't get it. That's fine. I don't care about you. There's going to be people that are going to try to come at me. That's fine. I'm really hard to kill. There's going to be people that have a lot of bad planned for us and try to manipulate us. It's not going to happen, because every day I do work to where I'm impenetrable. Like, you get me with no truth. Like, I'm so sensitive to that. Like, now I just sit and look at a new piece of information, or somebody comes across my radar and I'm like, no, like, no, this doesn't fit. It doesn't feel right. Like, done. And that's the thing. It's not easy. The decisions I'm having to make are not easy. They're very simple. And it's not even a choice. It's just moving on the path of what I believe and value, because I continue to do that work. And as far as vaccines go, they make not one fucking ounce of sense. Therefore, I will never be getting one. What are you going to do about travel? I don't know. I'll cross that when I come to it. If I have to go across seas, I know I have a car to get me to a coast, and then I'll figure out how to get across on the boat. Like, we figured out how to drink illegally. We figure out how to make meth illegally. We figure out how to do all this shit. Like, we'll figure this out. You know what I mean? I'm not concerned about but we have to get scared enough. We have to get desperate enough to live. And that's what we should be preparing for, is preparing for you to be the best version of you, so that these decisions become very simple. so that the ease of it is more digestible, so to speak. And if you have family, same thing. If you've got a business, same thing. You know, if you've got a condition that you need, well, you damn well better be thinking about it and getting ready, like getting ready to be very resilient, adaptable, and strong and gritty. And we just don't have that anymore. But I will say this: I have clients who come into my office, they're fully vaccinated. I don't give a shit. That's their choice. That's so awesome. Great. Good for you. No part of their decision was based on health, which I find interesting. It was always so that they could continue to participate in society. And I'm like, so it wasn't even about your health. It wasn't even about the big scary thing that they made up and the numbers that everyone knows and quotes that are completely made up and the tests that are completely made up. Like, oh, all right. What was all that for? I mean, they could have just come out and said anything and we would have stood in line because we're so idiot. Like, we have nothing to stand on. They literally pulled this big charade and they didn't even need to. They could have done anything because we're just so lacking in everything possible what we believe and value in. And that's the saddest, scariest part. It's not a vaccine. I don't really care. But it was how easily they just gave into it. That's the scariest part for me. And I can't control millions. I can't control you. I can't control my neighbor. I can just control me to the best of my ability. So that's all I'm going to focus on.
That's all we can do. At the end of the day, you can, well, apparently you can control people, but that's not our mission or our work. And I feel with the shedding, that's the same thing. It's another fear-mongering technique.
Yeah.
But I started reading about it and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because a lot of my friends are vaccinated. And then I'm just going to be scared of another, you know, like I don't want to live in fear. Living in fear is the worst we can do because where's the joy in that? You know? So that is, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. And I love what you said, because all we can do is live our best. And because we can control certain things, but we have control over our body, and everything affects our body, our environment, what we watch, who we are with, right? Like it all affects us. And so staying away from all the negative bullshit that doesn't serve us is definitely the way to go. I love this so much. Thank you so much.
You said what was an interesting point. Yeah. No, there's an interesting point I want to make, because there's people smarter than me. Many people smarter than me, but some people I interviewed, Dr. Dawson Church, on a podcast, and he said a quote. He said, consciousness is more infectious than any germ. And I thought that was amazing, because they've proven that, like, our consciousness and literally what we're thinking and feeling and emitting can affect or infect somebody way more powerful than, and that's truly how we infect somebody, or how we're contagious. Our consciousness is contagious. Germs are not. So I thought that was an interesting take home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any suggestions on what people should be reading, or if they want to, you know, because we all have to educate ourselves more on the subject and become more conscious, I guess, right? Like, of those things. Is there anything besides, you're an author as well. So you have a book out, Minimize Injury, Maximize Performance, right? A sports survival guide. I'm sure that's a fantastic book. Maybe I want to read, because I heard you talking somewhere about parents like to have their kids do just one sport, but you said let them try everything, because how important it is for their growth.
Yeah, so I think we don't need to read anymore. I think we need to experience more. we have many people who have read all these books and they're not applying anything. Right. And so if you're going to read a book and then apply it for like 6 months to a year, and then see how your body shifts. So again, that whole, like, not focus on one sport and play everything, that's what humans need to do right now. My book is no different. It's a framework of things, a survival guide for life. And it just gives you principles. It just gives you principles on things that you can do in your life. So I always say there's these 8 essentials that it comes down to that we focus on. If you pour yourself savagely and consistently into these 8 essentials, you won't have to go any further. Unless it's the shit just gets really severe and you need, like, maybe somebody to point the direction, like a medicine woman, like Dr. Cassie Huckabee, or like yours, maybe. But you also don't have somebody selling you a bunch of shit, like an actual medicine man or woman. These 8 essentials are where everybody who's done these radical remissions, these which aren't radical at all. Like healing cancer is not radical. It happens all the time. It's just you never hear the stories because they would never let you say the stories, as if you even think that it exists anyway. It's just healing. We're just always healing. But it comes down to these 8 essentials. 1, a belief in something greater than yourself. 2, purpose. 3, relationships. 4, sleep and naps. 5, breath, meditation, prayer. 6, outdoor light exposure. 7, nourishment. 8, movement. And if you go ahead and write these down and write a paragraph of what they mean to you, write it in pencil because you're always going to change it. Then off to the side of each 8, you write medicine and toxic, and you draw a column and you fill in all the things that you do during your day that are medicine to that category, that pertain to that particular subject. And then you look at the things, you got to be fucking honest. You can't lie about it. You have to be true. We all know that that person we've been hooking up with isn't healthy, isn't good for us, yet we still do it. Then you need to write that in your toxic column for your relationships. Mm-hmm. And that's also nourishment because you're consuming that person. So you got to like think about all that. And when you're honest with all those things, then all of a sudden you start to look, you go every single day, you have a template right there in front of you. Try to add more things in medicine and cross off more things in toxic. And when you do, and you actually go through these, celebrate the victories when you do. With that celebration comes a huge change. And all of a sudden, this living document puts your system into a position to actually finish healing. Because again, when you say you feel ill or you have a disease, you have a sickness that is just healing. It is not sick. Tumors, eczema, psoriasis, warts, sores, moles, molluscum, indigestion, GERD, thyroid shit, like everything they've named is just the body surviving. That's it. It's just healing. It is not sickness. So again, when you put yourself into a position, all of a sudden these things just go away. It's not that they go away, just the body finishes healing. And so you're no longer aware of it. It was trying to get your attention before. That's why you felt it, or that's why you saw it on your skin. Holy shit. There's a reason it comes out as a visible thing. It's so you can see it, feel it, and then go, wait, I got to do something about it. Not, oh my God, I got to hide it from me or cover it up or get somebody to cause it to go away. No, you don't want it to go away until it's done changing you. And so that's the thing. If you go into these 8 essentials, you're good. You're literally good. Now, everyone asks, do I do these? Yeah, I always have an ongoing list in my head of things that I do. I just took a huge ass walk this morning. I'm sipping a black coffee. I got grapes. I did a meditation. I did a coffee enema. I did bentonite clay. I slept. I looked at my salt lamps. I took this beautiful shower with a filter in it. I'm going to make some fruit before I go to work to go help people, connect with some people that are the right people. I'm going to come back and watch sunset if the clouds aren't, or if not, I'm just going to get outside. I'm going to pet a cat on my way out. Like all these things lined up. How are they different than where you were yesterday? Everything's just a little tweak in food, or I'm cooking a different way, or I'm moving in a little different element, or I'm going a little harder on this, or I'm backing off on something that maybe wasn't so ideal. So I'm constantly evolving, adapting, and changing throughout the day. My life is my medicine. And so it's literally, that's why I keep posting everything that I do during the day, because that is the medicine, not an instruction manual for you to copy. It's for you to be inspired and go into and find your own path. And with those 8 essentials, it's nourishment and movement and sleep and relationships. So what are those? I don't know. I'm not here to tell you what they are to you. You're going to do it yourself. And then all of a sudden, because you're a completely different person in 20 days or 5 minutes or a year, you're going to need to reassess that list, because your shifts, you might have a total shift. You might believe something different. You might like a certain personality now because you did the work of the lesson from the 8 relationships before, because they were an opportunity. And now all of a sudden, holy shit, I no longer like that. I like this, or this is who I am now. And so we never get bored with ourselves. We never get bored with our life, because our life is the medicine. So again, that's where I think with those 8 essentials is, and if you do consume a book, it's cool. Read a book, no problem. But apply the book and give yourself an opportunity to change. I love the 6 months to a year rule. If you're not truly giving 6 months to a year for something, you're not being fair. But this whole like 3 weeks or 30-day shift, like what the fuck happens in 30 days? Maybe on an injury standpoint, if you apply it, but like, what? No way. You gotta like stretch it out. You might get an immediate change initially, but you're not done. like the deep stuff comes way later, because the body's on its own time. So it's kind of cool to be fair that way. Let the body give an opportunity to change. So that's what I would say with mine. Even before getting my, like, don't get my book, but you'll see if you do get my book, you'll see that I don't spoon feed a bunch of ways. There's like 9 recipes in there. There's tests, so you don't have to come to my office. There's programs to take you from an elite athlete or all the way down to a developmental child to 99 years old. Like, it's just a guide. It's just a guide for you to just take and make your own. But to be totally honest, I wrote it from experiencing out there. I didn't write it because I read a bunch of books. And so that's where you have people that I really, truly want you guys to do, is to try to get back to experiencing your life, because we're not anymore. We're experiencing life through phones. We're experiencing life through instant gratification. We're experiencing life through the 2-dimensional world, virtual world. And that's where they want us to go, is virtual. So how do you combat that? Get the fuck outside, connect with people again, connect with yourself again. Try to figure out what it is you stand for, what you believe in, what you value. What do you love? Like, what do you love? Like, I could list so many things that I adore. People don't have any idea what they love anymore. Probably they weren't allowed, given the opportunity, but that stems from your purpose here, and everything else comes from your intention is stuff you love. If you can't list what you love, you're literally just going to go through the motions and try to recreate my life for you. That's not going to work for you. In fact, it might even like hurt you. You might not just be able to keep it up because it works for me. And so that's the thing. What do you love? That's going to drive your intention, and then your reason, and then it'll fit into all those, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah. Gold. That's gold. That is so true. Because passion, I mean, that's why we live here. That's why you're on earth, right? You're not here to just struggle and slave 24/7 and then drop dead at some point because your body's like, I've had it, you know.
Right?
Yeah. I so love that. And I enjoy on your Telegram group, I enjoy when you like fire back when someone with the grapes, like, why the grapes? You know?
I know.
And it's so our nature to do that, to say, wait, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What is it doing for you? Why do I need to add that to my diet? You know, and then it was so funny. You just said, well,
You got to tell me, why do you eat grapes?
well, because I fucking love them. And I was like, that was funny. But we need that.
Because I fucking love them.
We need that attitude, though, that you're saying, you know, don't watch me. Yeah, watch me.
Yeah.
Right, but then do you know, do your own thing.
Oh, yeah.
So fascinating. I love everything you do. And I mean, are you planning on trying to go back on Instagram, or you just like, fuck it, like I'm over it?
No, so I'm back on. I'm
Oh, you
naked
are?
TJ. I'm NakedTJ _.
Oh, got you. Okay, because I was looking for him. I'm like, I guess he's not on yet. All right.
Yeah, I'm back on. That's the thing. The platform is amazing. I really do love it. It's like really integrative, and it's great. Like, and there's millions of people.
Right.
Like, again, if I can't, I'm gonna use them. They can keep deleting me, but I'm just using them to get this message out and infect their whole world. And that's the thing. They can't delete me enough to where I will stop. Like, they're gonna have to like literally like shut off my devices. I mean, I'm gonna keep going. I know people left there or whatever. I'm like, fuck that. Why would you leave? Well, they have your information. Dude, they already have your information. Like, they've had it forever.
You have a phone, they have your information.
Seriously, like, stop it. We think we're so pure and like, oh, we're sticking it to them. Like, okay, that's fine, but I'm gonna stick it to them even more, because when they delete me, that means I'm doing something amazing.
Yes.
And so I get reinvigorated every time, and that's where they fuck up. Is the more of us they delete, they're just making it harder on them, because we come back stronger. People find you again, and then they really try to make those changes. Like, wow, this is interesting. What is he saying? That's so threatening. Right. Or what if it was gone? Then what would I do? And then for the short period of time, all of a sudden, especially with my message, now they're like, wait, he's not spoon feeding me. In fact, he's triggering me. In fact, he's pissing me off. Why is he pissing me off? Huh. Okay, I got some work to do. You know? Yeah,
that is awesome. Where can people find you? Where would you love people that want to connect with you? Where should they go?
So I think, NakedTJ _ is Instagram. That's kind of like my home right now. I need to change my website and switch the Instagram handle, but you can go to drtommyjohn.com. I have that, even though I'm not a doctor anymore, I have that domain, right? And so, but it's drtommyjohn.com is my website. And from there, there's Facebook. I got to add Telegram and some other things. But yeah, just go to Instagram. If you DM me, I'll get back to you. Don't be a dickhead DMing me and say things, because I won't, and I'll probably block you or get rid of you. But if you truly have a concern or a question, I'll shoot you straight. And then that's just how we communicate. So we'll go from there.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for being on the show. You are such a light in this world, and we need more of you. Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity. This was fun.
Yes,
of course.
Absolutely. We'll talk soon. Take care.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
As always, thank you so much for listening and watching this podcast. I know there's so many other things you could be doing with your time. I hope you really enjoyed this and you got something out of it. I thought that this was such a valuable, oh my God, so many truth bombs in there. And not only that, but so much great advice. So what I've done is I created a little PDF for you that if you are interested, you can grab it and like a little summary of what Dr. John was talking about. He doesn't want to be called doctor anymore. So what Tommy was talking about, so that you maybe can apply, hopefully you will apply the many amazing suggestions he has given us. And as always, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your time with us. And with that said, you have an amazing week, day, life, and until next time.
Life's become a bore. I need to get out, explore. I've been here for way too long, way too long. So sick of all the same old shit. I'm so over it. I think this chapter is done. I keep thinking, we had a good run. It's time to move on. Shake it up, tear it down, pack your bags, let's get down. Time to move on. Until the next one. Things are kinda still. I'm lost. My soul is frail. I'm tired of this addiction. This addiction. Gotta break it up. Gotta shut it down. Let the chaos start. Let the pieces fly. Time to burn it down to the ground tonight. We had a good run. It's time to move on. Shake it up, tear it down, pack your bags, let's get down. Time to move on. Until the next one. Everybody's dancing. Everybody's chanting. Everybody's chanting tonight.